All right, let's talk about something we've all probably dealt with. You open up a cupboard, one you're sure is clean and dry, and there it is, a little patch of mold hiding in the back corner. It's so frustrating, right? Well, today, we're going to get to the bottom of why that happens.
I mean, it really is a puzzle. You clean the cupboard, it looks fine, it feels dry to the touch, but then a few weeks or months later, you get that musty smell, or you see that dark spot creeping back. So what on earth is going on?
So we're going to investigate this little mystery, and here's a hint. It probably has almost nothing to do with how well you clean or what you're storing. The real culprit? Well, it's all about the predictable physics happening inside your home.
To solve this, our first clue is to understand that these enclosed spaces, cupboards, wardrobes, even the corners of a room, they just don't play by the same rules as the rest of your house. They are their own little worlds.
Think about it. In an open room, you've got air moving around, the temperature's pretty stable, and so things dry out quickly. But the second you shut that cupboard door, everything changes. The air becomes totally stagnant, the temperature inside is often a little cooler, and if any moisture gets in, boy, it is trapped in there for a long, long time.
And this combination of still air, cooler temps, and trapped moisture creates what we call a microclimate. It's literally like a tiny isolated weather system inside your cupboard that's completely different from the main room. And unfortunately for us, that microclimate is the perfect weather for mold to set up shop and thrive, even if the rest of the room feels totally fine.
And you know what? Corners are natural problem spots for the exact same reason. They just lose heat way faster than a flat wall, and they get way less airflow. This makes them the coldest surfaces in the room. So just like a cold glass gets condensation on a hot day, these corners become magnets for any moisture in the air. These aren't just random bad luck spots. They are totally predictable failure points. Okay, so if this microclimate is our main culprit, what about all the stuff we actually store in these cupboards? The cardboard boxes, the old clothes. Are they just innocent bystanders in all this, or are they part of the problem?
Well, it turns out they're more like accomplices. The stored items themselves aren't the root cause, but man, do they make a bad situation way worse. They block what little airflow might exist, and materials like cardboard or fabrics act like sponges, literally absorbing and holding on to moisture. This just gives the mold even more fuel and more surfaces to grow on. And this brings us to that maddening cycle. You find the mold, you clean it away, and you think you're done, only for it to come right back a few months later. So why does this keep happening?
Here's the most crucial point. When you scrub away that mold, you're basically wiping up a puddle without fixing the leaky pipe. You've removed the symptom for sure, but you haven't done anything to change that cold, damp microclimate that invited the mold to grow in the first place.
This is why mold does its little disappearing act in the summer. The air gets warmer, it gets drier, and that temporarily masks the problem. But the underlying vulnerability, that poorly ventilated, cold corner, that hasn't changed at all. So as soon as winter comes back around, the perfect conditions return, and so does the mold.
Okay, so let's put all the clues together. We have the microclimates in cupboards, the condensation traps in corners, the role of our stored stuff, and the reason why cleaning just doesn't cut it. And this all leads us to the final and honestly the most important reveal of this whole investigation.
That patch of mold you found in the corner of your cupboard, it isn't just a small, isolated problem. It's a message. It's a signal that your home is trying to send you, telling you that something bigger might be going on.
So, when should you really start paying attention? Well, if that mold keeps coming back no matter how many times you clean it, that's a red flag. If you start finding it in more than one cupboard or wardrobe, that's another. And if it starts showing up in open areas of the room, that's a pretty clear sign that the moisture imbalance isn't just in one spot, it's likely a much wider issue.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It reframes the whole issue perfectly. The problem isn't about cleanliness, it's about environmental stress. Your cupboard isn't failing because it's dirty, it's failing because it's the weakest link in your home's ability to deal with moisture.
So here's the big takeaway. That cupboard is basically acting as an early warning system. It's the canary in the coal mine, trying to alert you to a potential moisture issue before it turns into a much bigger, more disruptive problem somewhere else in your home. So if you start seeing this hidden mold not as just a mess that you have to clean up, but as a clue, you can start asking the right questions. Your cupboard isn't the problem. It's just the symptom. The real question you should be asking is, what is your home trying to tell you about its overall health?